Chapter 1, Section 5, Biology and Your Future. Key concept. Understanding biology can help you make informed decisions. Main ideas. Your health and the health of the environment depend on your knowledge of biology. Biotechnology offers great promise, but also raises many issues. And biology presents many unanswered questions. First main idea. Your health and the health of the environment depend on your knowledge of biology. Decisions are based on opinions, emotions, education, experiences, values, and logic. Many of your decisions, now and in the future, at both professional and societal levels, involve biology. Your knowledge of biology can help you make informed decisions about issues involving endangered species, biotechnology, medical research, and pollution control, just to name a few. How will your decisions affect the future of yourself and others? What you eat and drink is directly related to your health, but you may not think twice about the possibility of contaminated food or water, or lack of vitamins in your diet. Not long ago, diseases caused by vitamin deficiencies were still fairly common. The first vitamins were identified less than 100 years ago, but today, the vitamins found in foods are printed on the labels. Even today, we still face food-related causes of illness. For example, you might hear about an outbreak of food poisoning or mad cow disease, and mad cow disease was only recognized in the late 1980s. Or perhaps a greater concern to you are food allergies. Many people suffer from severe, even life-threatening allergies to foods such as peanuts and shellfish. Beyond questions about the sources of food are questions about or concerns about what people eat and how much they eat. For example, scientists estimate that more than 69% of adults in the United States are overweight or obese. The health consequences of obesity include increased risks of diabetes, stroke, heart disease, breast cancer, colon cancer, and other health problems. Biology can help you better understand all of these health-related issues. An understanding of biology on many different levels, genetic, chemical, and cellular, for example, can help you make any number of lifestyle choices that affect your health. Why is it so important to use sunscreen? What are the benefits of exercise? What are the effects of using alcohol, illegal drugs, and tobacco? Cigarette smoke does not just affect your health, for example, like shown on the screen here. It can also affect a person's body chemistry. Lower levels of monoamine oxidase in the brain can affect mood, and lower levels in the liver could contribute to high blood pressure. In 1995, middle school students from Minnesota were walking through a wetland and collecting frogs for a school project. The students stopped to look at the frogs, and what they saw shocked them. Many of the frogs had deformities, including missing legs, extra legs, and missing eyes. What caused the deformities? Scientists investigated that question by testing several hypotheses. They studied whether the deformities could have been caused by factors such as a chemical in the water, ultraviolet radiation, or some type of infection. Why would frog deformities, such as the one on the screen here, provoke such a scientific interest? The frogs are part of an ecosystem, so whatever affected them could affect other species in the area. If the deformities were caused by a chemical in the water, might the chemical pose a risk to the people in that area? In other regions of the United States, parasites cause similar deformities in frogs. Might that parasite also be present in Minnesota? If so, did it pose a risk to other species? At first, parasites were not found in the frogs. However, scientists now suggest that the frog deformities were due to a combination of infections by parasites called trematodes and predation by dragonfly nymphs. Science has answered some questions about the cause of the leg deformities. However, scientists now think that a chemical may be connected to the increased number of parasite infections. Suppose that the chemical comes from a factory in the area. Is it reasonable to ban the chemical? Should the factory be closed or fined? In any instance like this, political, legal, economic, and biological concerns have to be considered. What is the economic impact of the factory on the area? Is there any evidence of human health problems in the area? Is there a different chemical that could be used? Without an understanding of biology, how could you make an informed decision related to these questions? These are the types of questions that people try to answer every day. Biologists and other scientists research environmental issues such as pollution, biodiversity, habitat preservation, land conservation, and natural resource use, but decisions about the future are not in the hands of scientists. It is up to everyone to make decisions based on evidence and conclusions from many different sources. Second main idea. Biotechnology offers great promise, but also raises many issues. Biotechnology is the use and application of living things and biological processes. Biotechnology includes a very broad range of products, processes, and techniques. In fact, some forms of biotechnology have been around for centuries, such as the use of microorganisms to make bread and cheese. Today, biotechnology is used in medicine, agriculture, forensic science, and many other fields. For example, people wrongly convicted of crimes may be freed from prison when DNA testing shows that their DNA did not match DNA found at the crime scenes. Biotechnology has great potential to help solve a variety of modern problems, such as a search for alternative energy sources using algae, like shown on the screen here. However, along with the advances in biotechnology come questions about its uses. All domestic plants and animals are the result of centuries of genetic manipulation through selective breeding. Today, genetic manipulation can mean the transfer of genetic information from one organism to a very different organism. Organisms that have genes from more than one species or have altered copies of their own genes are called transgenic organisms. Transgenic bacteria can make human insulin to treat people with diabetes. Transgenic sheep and cows can make human antibodies and proteins. When you hear about genetically modified foods, you are hearing about transgenic organisms. Genetically modified foods have many potential benefits. Crop plants are changed to increase the nutrients and yield of the plants and to resist insects. Insect-resistant crops could reduce or end the need for chemical pesticides. However, the long-term effects of genetically modified crops are not fully known. Is it safe to eat foods with genetically modified insect resistance? What if genetically modified plants spread undesirable genes, such as those for herbicide resistance, to wild plants? Around the world, the benefits and risks of biotechnology are debated. Understanding these benefits and risks requires knowledge of ecosystems, genetic principles, and even the functions of genes. Another form of biotechnology is human genetic screening, which is the analysis of a person's genes to identify genetic variations. Genetic screening can indicate whether individuals or their potential offspring may be at risk for certain diseases or genetic disorders. Genetic screening has the potential for early diagnosis of conditions that can be treated before the illness actually occurs. Genetic screening also raises ethical concerns. For example, who should have access to a person's genetic information? Some people are concerned that insurance companies might refuse health insurance to someone with a gene that might cause a disease. Suppose genetic screening reveals that a child might have a genetic disorder. How should that information be used? Genetic screening has the potential to eliminate some disorders, but what should be considered a disorder? A greater concern is the possibility that people might use genetic screening to choose the characteristics of their children. Is it ethical to allow people to choose to have only brown-eyed male children who would be at least 6 feet tall, for example? Third main idea. Biology presents many unanswered questions. The structure of DNA was described in 1953. By 2003, the entire human DNA sequence was known. Since 1953, our biological knowledge has exploded. But even today, there are more questions than answers. Can cancer be prevented or cured? How do viruses mutate? How are memories stored in the brain? One of the most interesting questions is whether life exists on planets other than Earth. Extreme environments on Earth are home to living things, like the extreme methane worms shown on the screen here. Thus, it is logical to suspect that other planets may also support life. But even if life exists elsewhere in the universe, it may be completely different from life on Earth. How might biological theories change to take into account the characteristics of those organisms? A large number of questions in biology are not just unanswered, they are unasked. Before the microscope was developed, no one investigated anything microscopic. Before the middle of the 20th century, biologists did not know for sure what the genetic material in organisms was made of. As technology and biology advance, who knows what will be discovered in the next 20 years? Chapter 1, Section 5, Biology and Your Future. Key concept. Understanding biology can help you make informed decisions. Main ideas. Your health and the health of the environment depend on your knowledge of biology. Biotechnology offers great promise, but also raises many issues. And biology presents many unanswered questions.